Riley, Sam, congratulations on Daisy Jones and the Six. I mean, people are so obsessed with this story. Obviously, it's a New York Times best-selling book. Talk to me a little bit about what hooked you all originally. We're in this wild time of the 70s. Some inspiration from Fleetwood Mac, from what I understand.
So we can...
We're too polite.
Okay, I'll do it.
You go. You go.
You know, the 70s was always sort of, for me, my like FOMO era my whole life. It was something that I always found the music, the architecture, and the aesthetic to be much better than the, time I've been living in. And it's always been something that I've loved, and I've, I think anyone, when you're given the opportunity to sort of be in a rock and roll band in the 70s and get to experience that world building and, essentially live in the 70s is, you can't really say no.
It's got to be incredible, right, Sam?
I mean, sex, drugs, and rock and roll. What's not to like? it's literally the dream, right? But yeah, I think on what Riley said, I think the fact that I grew up. I mean, everyone's sort of grown up with a dream that is sort of so far out of their reach, And I think being a rock star, having no musical talent whatsoever growing up, was like wow, one day maybe, And having the opportunity and the belief of the people around me. I didn't have much self-belief through this process, but I think the producers were like, there's something we can play with here. But yeah, I think having this opportunity to kind of tell this story, like step into the shoes of this sort of rock and roll disaster, was just like is like a dream for an actor, really. Yeah.
And Riley, you've said that you were put on this earth to be Daisy. Why did this role feel like? Wait.
No.
I don't think that was a quote from me. I think that I think because I read that as well, and I think that was in New York Times, and I think it was quoted from a producer from, I don't know, but I don't think that came. I don't want to take credit for that coming out of my mouth.
She was walking around on stage, on set every day.
I was put on this earth
I was
to be
made
Daisy
for this.
Well, then in that case,
I told everybody.
I'm curious to know, do you feel that way? Like, what do you feel when it comes to your relationship with?
I feel that way. I feel that way.
I think that when you are playing a role, there's sort of something cosmic happens that you are meant to be where you are in that time, and I think that goes for all roles, as a performer. And I feel like I've always felt that I'm in the exact right place at the right time when I'm, doing a role, and it's kind of come to me in a way that's felt very sort of magical, and I feel the same way about this.
Yeah. Talk to me a little bit about Bandcamp. From what I understand, Bandcamp, that was an accent that I've never had. From what I understand, you all got together. Obviously, you went through a very rigorous process when it came to preparing for these roles. And then also, I think it's really cool, the opportunity to perform live together. That was obviously something that was very important. And you pulled it off beautifully. What was that experience like, building the musical chemistry between you three?
Well, I mean, I think that there was such a long way for us to come. As much as some of the band members had musical experience before, like even Josh, who was the most musically experienced, had never played bass, or not really. And so, like, I think all of us needed to like up the ante for to make this believable. And honestly, we were really kind of blessed to have had the extra year and a half through lockdown. Forcing that meant that we were able to familiarize ourselves with not only the music but like each other. So when we kind of came back to filming and came back out to LA and had like 3 months of intense band rehearsal and recording the music and stuff, I think we were all just first and foremost desperate to see one another again. But having the opportunity to play live for the executives and some of the cast and what have you, potentially one of the most terrifying things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And they were like, Sam, can you just talk in between, introduce the songs?
They wanted stage banter. Josh tried at some point.
It was
Doing the banter, Sam.
Yeah, no, I'm not that comfortable with just an American accent, So they were. I was like, do you want me to do it in character? I feel like I don't know. It was yeah.
I think there was many hours and weeks where it was a very frustrating process and really difficult for myself, and I think
for all of us.
For all of us.
In what ways?
Learning learning an instrument for the first time, vocally and, guitar and piano. Suki hadn't played piano. We'd never played guitar or sang or, so it was, it was a lot. And we had to be performing these songs that were written by musicians who are extremely experienced in these instruments, so we were learning things that were very challenging. And there certainly were days where I remember I went home and I'd cry and my fingers were hurting and I was like, I can't get it right.
And I think one of the captions at the beginning of the series is, they were the biggest band in the world. So you're like, oh God, there's a lot of pressure. There's like, bunk, bunk, bunk. I was like, no, just take my guitar off. It's fine. I'll just pretend I know what I'm doing.
And I want to talk a little bit about the sort of this world that we step into. It's a fun decade, right? The 70s were wild. There was so much creativity, so much expression. What was that like, on a much lighter note, to just kind of breathe life into this incredible decade? From what I understand, Riley, you requested some Stevie Nicks vibes with the wardrobe. Does she know this?
I think I requested a lot of things to Denise. I'd send her a photo. I'd be like, Cher, get me this necklace. No, I'm just kidding. But there were, we were constantly sending each other photos back and forth of everyone from Stevie Nicks to Cher to Joni Mitchell to Linda Ronstadt, and just found a lot of inspiration, through all of these women. And so there was, there's plenty to draw from. The clothes were incredible in the 70s.
And Regret Me, what do you remember about recording it? Do you know that it already has over 2 million streams on Spotify? Congratulations.
That's so crazy.
That's my mum.
Yeah.
That's my mum just
over and over
flying
again.
the flag.
Yeah. That is crazy. The feedback from the music and the trailer and everything has just been totally mind-blowing. I don't think we expected that.
No, I will say, like, it's kudos to the incredible team of musical experts and peeps that
we wrote all of the songs.
Don't give me credit for that. No, but honestly, they had some great people coming in to collaborate. They had Phoebe Bridges, they had Marcus Mumford, Jackson Brown wrote a song. It was kind of a who's who of musical genius.
And Blake Mills and Tony Berg.
Yeah, and Blake Mills and Tony Berg at the helm, basically teaching us everything there is. I got like a history lesson in music through Tony Berg. The guy literally became my father for like the 10 months that we were doing this. And I have to say, I couldn't have done it without them. Like it was. There was
a huge team behind us. Sort of. Making all this happen and making the songs sound amazing. Yeah.